Incredible. How's everyone doing? Can you hear me all right? Just some thumbs up if you can. Good. I'm hoping so. I'm not seeing any chats, but we'll keep going as if we can. Awesome. So I'm super excited to kind of be introducing this. Hopefully you can see my screen here as well. But we will be diving in right into the Build Your Presence webinar. So for those of you who are not a familiar face, typically we have Bally who is on these. He is away at daddy daycare duty, but not to worry. I have some incredible co-hosts with me as well today. So we're going to jump right into this. So right off the bat, for today's Build Your Presence webinar, we will be diving into all things AI. So how to use AI, and specifically how to use AI as it relates to your real estate business. Before I kind of go any farther with this, I'd love to introduce some of our co-hosts here. So first off, I do have Marian on the call. So Marian may be a familiar face to some of you. She's been on a few of these webinars previously. She is our manager for our paid media team. So Marian, if you wanted to go ahead and do a quick introduction.
Hi, I'm Marian, and nice to be back, and look forward to this exciting call. I'm over here at our paid media team, and AI has been really exciting for us. So really looking forward to sharing with everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. And then I do have Thomas on this call as well. So Thomas is one of our fabulous members of our SEO team, one of our senior SEO strategists. For those who are not familiar with SEO, that's really search engine optimization. But of course, Thomas, I'll let you take it away.
I'm Thomas. I'm the senior SEO strategist at Luxury Presence. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here and looking forward to talking with you more about AI and SEO. Just so you know what I do, I work directly on clients' sites, helping them with their SEO success. And I also introduce and develop new strategies and tactics for our SEO team.
I like it. And then myself, my name is Sebastian Atienza. I'm one of our VIP client success managers here at Luxury Presence. Prior to that, I was a senior client success manager with Luxury Presence. So I have been able to work with some of our fabulous clients here. If there's any of you participants in here, that's one of my clients. Hello, hello. Great to have you. But really super excited to kind of dive into this. Prior to Luxury Presence, I was involved as a director of some social media, really doing paid media as well as organic social. So all of us really have a hand in that client marketing or client deliverable side of things. So really eager to kind of dive into that with all of you and just kind of give some feedback of how you can be utilizing, again, AI in your everyday. So really to kind of go over this, I will close that real quickly. Just after the introduction, really we're going to dive into understanding AI. So what is AI? How can you be utilizing AI in your day-to-day function? From there, we will go into using AI as it specifically relates to lead nurture as well as content and SEO strategies. We will then dive into exploring AI as it relates to applying it real time into things that you are utilizing. And then, of course, we will kind of introduce, again, our Copilot app. For those of you who have not already heard about our Copilot app, we are so excited for this launch as it kind of relates to stuff that we are doing for the AI component of this. We'll kind of show some of those features that are coming down the pipeline and give you a chance to get some more information there. As always, there will be a Q&A session at the end of this as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat as we go along. But otherwise, we will have some time, of course, for that at the end of this as well. The last thing that I will say is that part of this, we will record this whole meeting. So after the meeting, you will receive the recorded version just to go over after. So great. I will go ahead and click forward here a little bit. So AI and its potential in the real estate industry. To get going with this, we got to explain what is AI. So AI, or artificial intelligence, just as a note, I did use artificial intelligence to tell me what artificial intelligence is. So ChatGPT, thank you. But AI, or artificial intelligence, refers to the simulation of human intelligence in computer systems. It involves creating machines or software that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as understanding the world, natural language, and recognizing patterns. What does that mean? It's really utilizing computers to do a lot of those day-to-day actions that we do as humans that we don't necessarily really think about. So AI, one thing that we love to say here is that AI is not just a tool, AI is a rocket for productivity. So really the purpose of today's presentation is going to kind of give you some ways to utilize AI, again, to just make those day-to-day operations a little bit more productive. So how are our top agents really leveraging AI successfully? When we look at this, we got to get going with ChatGPT. I kind of already mentioned this at the beginning, but ChatGPT is a form of artificial intelligence really for generating that conversational response. It's really good for interactive and dialogue-based applications. So with that, to kind of get going, I'll just show you a quick example of ChatGPT in real function. So for this example, I really just asked ChatGPT to come up with, for me, 10 catchy blog post titles specifically for the keyword Charlotte neighborhoods. So when I click play here, you can see right off the bat, put in the request. Right there we go, 10 different topics right on catchy blog titles. So I'll kind of go into this a little bit more as it relates to how you can be utilizing ChatGPT. What we have here is some ChatGPT prompts. So after this call, we are putting together a guide for our agents that is specifically relating to some prompts that you can use specifically for ChatGPT. I see someone in the chat, I love ChatGPT. Yes, there is a lot of functionality that is available here. So one that I'll kind of mention right off the bat, I had highlighted this already. For ChatGPT, you can ask this to write 10 catchy blog post titles for you, specifically using a keyword term that you're looking to rank for. That's a really easy way to kind of identify blogs that you may want to write for your site. Another one is specifically into writing an agent bio. So as part of this, if you have an existing resume or some talking points specifically that you'd like to utilize, you can plug that directly into ChatGPT and it can create an agent bio for you using that. Similarly, like if you wanted it to rewrite something that you already have, that also is available via that too. One other that I will mention is writing a property description. So if you do have features or amenities available on the MLS, you can actually put that directly into ChatGPT and utilize that to create a property description for you. As we go further in this, we'll kind of talk about how important content is specifically for SEO. So even having that additional content on these pages kind of buffs them up a little bit when it comes to what search engines are looking for. Another one I put here, this one would be a little different, but writing an email. So if you have a client that may just have available properties and you want to quickly get an email out to them, you can utilize ChatGPT to kind of draft that first draft for you. But you can also do that on the other end. If you have an email, you can plug that into ChatGPT and ask for it to create a response for you. The last one that I'll kind of highlight here is in regards to explaining steps. So if you wanted to utilize steps for buying or explaining the steps of buying a home for a first-time home buyer, explaining the steps for selling a home, the loan process, this is a really good way to kind of create that initial draft for you and then kind of utilize that for a client. I will say, of course, with anything, ChatGPT is a computer. So it really is up to us to kind of utilize what they're providing in content and then making that your own. So I do highly recommend still looking over that content that it creates, utilizing it for your own brand voice, as well as your image. Great. Some great questions coming through in here as well. We'll go ahead and save a few of these for the end, but please keep up the dialogue in there. But I really wanted to dive into AI as it specifically relates for content creation and the SEO component. So I'm going to pose the question, how has AI really transformed content and SEO as it relates to the real estate space? For this, I'd love to kind of go ahead and pass it on over to Thomas, and he's going to give us a little bit more of a deep dive of what we're seeing real time as for SEO and content as it relates to AI. And then Thomas, if you want to go ahead and take it away. And then it looks like you might have froze right on par. We'll see if he's able to join. Let me go ahead and read one of these. Thoughts on ChatGPT versus Google Bard. I heard Bard is connected to the internet in real time. Yeah, I personally haven't used too much about Bard. I can see if someone on the team has too. Marian, would you know anything about Bard?
We are just starting to explore Bard, so not an expert on it yet, and I haven't leveraged it as much as I've leveraged ChatGPT, but have heard some really great things and excited to test it out within Google's native platforms like, PPC ads and YouTube ads and descriptions. So really looking forward to trying that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, looks like I'm going to wait till Thomas is able to join here. No problem with that. And then I'll add him back on as a participant. But with that in mind, Marian, I'd love to just go ahead and skip on over to your section for the time being. And then we can, of course, kind of go back to this. But as it relates, one of the questions, again, that I did want to pose was how can AI really be used as it relates to lead nurture in general? So we have some screenshots here, but I'll kind of let you take away of some things that are coming down the pipeline, as well as what you know and what we can be utilizing AI at for lead nurture or lead generation.
Yeah, so a little bit of a sneak peek, I guess, behind the scenes of what we've been working here at LP with the paid media team and our product team, which is really leveraging AI in the lead nurture space. So one of the great things that we have learned is you can feed so much information to ChatGPT and what normally is, and other forms, things like, many chats and things like that. Where we can leverage the information we're learning from the consumer side and what questions are answered, or really leveraging it for things like speed to lead and the initial communication with leads. We all know the importance of building a pipeline, and we all know the importance of speed to lead, but we are human, right? And so asking us to be able to quickly send a text message in less than 5 minutes, and also make sure that your emails are connected and everything's going out, it is a daunting task. And I think for many of us, we really want to do that, and harnessing the power of tools that are, being built, and the great minds that work at LP, and also leveraging AI. We've, started to play around with helping our agents communicate with leads as they come in. So we know that there's a real need to start converting leads, and especially in a market and with consumers who expect you to just respond right away, or if they text you, they want you to text them back. So we're working with a AI assistant that really is going to help our agents start asking some qualifying questions and really reach out to our leads as soon as they come in. So when they come in, within the first 5 minutes, reaching out and sending a text message, and just starting to ask those questions like, thank you for signing up for our website. I'm happy to help you. I'm, agent's assistant, and really want to learn more about your home search needs or your home selling needs, and really start asking those questions just to get that conversation going. That way, while agents are out on appointments or doing the other 1,000 things that they do, we're having these conversations, these meaningful conversations with clients or potential clients, and getting you the information you're going to need to have conversations and turning them into meaningful conversations. So really excited for that. And right on cue, the mailman seems to have arrived at my house, but that's what we're exciting. So we're really looking forward to testing this out, and then getting it to our clients' hands.
I like it. And then you and I had kind of sidebar specifically on how we could be utilizing AI and lead nurture as it relates to InMail for LinkedIn. If you could kind of touch on that a little bit more in that conversation, that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, so one of the recent releases we had was our lead enrichment details. So getting more information about your leads into our agents. And one of the things we've heard back from agents is, how do I communicate better, or how do I leverage their social media platform, specifically their LinkedIn platform? For many of our agents, who service places where there'd be secondary homes or people moving from a different state, how can you leverage other places to communicate? And one of the things we've figured out is that LinkedIn is a great place. You don't really expect a lot of spam in there. Maybe some job posting, things like that. So what we've done is we've fed some of our clients traditional lead nurture, or what they would be emails that has their tone, and sent it over through ChatGPT with a simple prompt of, turn this into a email that I would send via LinkedIn to a lead that's looking to move from, and this is an example, from Los Angeles to the Bay Area. I'd like to include a little bit about myself, how I've helped clients, and make this into under 1,000 characters. And with a simple prompt like that, it sends over a beautifully curated, very well thought out email. It's using some of the content you've fed it. So it's providing the ability for you to quickly copy and paste it into a LinkedIn, send that message over, and then for replies back, oh, thank you for reaching out, or I'm just starting to look, or, getting those conversations started in a place where you wouldn't have thought of, or a place where many of us don't know, it's not like a traditional email and it's not a text message. So it's helping us reach people in other platforms in a meaningful way without us having to sit there and think about writing or turning it into a really good LinkedIn email. I know it's a lot to think about. So those are the ways we're leveraging it. The same with social media posts, and even just messages on social media, or if many of us have little chats on our website and you can't think of something to say right away, or you want to communicate, you can kind of, you're using it, but you want to think, how do I say this in a few characters? ChatGPT has really been great for us in helping that. And the more you feed it, the better it gets to know you and your tone, and you can keep those things going.
I like it. Well, super excited for this to kind of come down the pipeline as well. I know this will be really great for agents. There's been a lot even too with lead enrichment internally. So great to kind of see what we're doing there. Let's see if there's any questions. There's a few there. I will go ahead and pull those, but looks like Thomas is having some Wi-Fi trouble, but we will go ahead and keep going as go. So really just some of the things that we wanted to touch on in regards to leveraging AI for this. So right off the bat, we kind of will go into this a little bit more when Thomas jumps back on, but content generation and marketing. Marian mentioned this for social media as well, but a really good way to leverage AI specifically is as it relates to generating content, whether that be for social media, whether that be for blog articles, property descriptions, marketing materials. That is a really, really good way to kind of utilize what we have available for AI. I would say another one is market insights and trends. So another thing that Thomas will kind of go through with us is showing how you can kind of create tables and data from ChatGPT specifically by feeding it different numbers or forecasts. So this would be a really good way to kind of leverage AI, is coming up with a forecast or coming up with some of those insights to then share with the client later on. Another one, we already touched on this a little bit earlier, but specifically as it relates to property information. So when you have a property page, if you don't have a property description already written, you can easily feed ChatGPT or AI some of those features and amenities that are available and utilize that to create a description for that specific page. When we dive into SEO, really a lot of the component that we look at is content based on the website. So this is really going to be another huge component. As it relates more to the paid media side and more of the lead nurture side, this can really be utilized AI for client communication and specifically engagement. So AI, again, can be incorporated into a website for 24/7 client inquiries, asking general questions or answering general questions, whether it be about properties and neighborhoods. When we kind of look at that, this isn't something that's really new. I mean, you've seen on some sites chat widgets already that kind of answer some of those automated questions. So what are your hours? Where are you located? Those questions that may be fielded by an automatic response. Think of AI as a leverage for some additional questions or a step forward from that. Another component is going to be the lead qualification and follow-up. This is some of what we kind of touched on already, but AI can engage with leads to kind of understand what they're interested in and their interest in properties prior to that lead even getting to you. So some ideas there would really be asking what type of like how many bedrooms that you're looking for, what is your price range, what area are you really looking for. Then those questions are already answered so that when the lead actually gets to you, it's a little bit more warm or a little more nurtured at that point. So those are a few ones there. And then Thomas, I see that you were able to jump back on here. Just a little Wi-Fi problems, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Apologies, people.
No worries. It happens. Well, we'll kind of just circle back a little bit on here. So where the question we kind of posed was directly on how has AI really transformed content creation and SEO as it relates to the real estate space? I know you have some good information here, so I'll love to just kind of pass it on over back to you.
Right. So some basic ways that it can help us improve our real estate marketing. It'll make us more productive. It does what we need to do much faster than us, so we can do more in less time. So things like creating real estate content or doing specific SEO tasks. It makes us more efficient. It's basically typo free for one thing. We don't have to do much editing. It can also quickly sort of learn from mistakes and fix mistakes faster than we can. Which makes us more efficient in general. It's also more knowledgeable. It makes us more knowledgeable. It has access to almost all the internet, all the info on the internet up until 2021. So we can ask it almost anything when we need to learn, including, information about basic to advanced SEO strategies and tactics. It makes us more adaptable. So Google's constantly changing their algorithms, and sometimes it changes the criteria by which they judge our content. So at times we need to take all of our content and rethink it and update it. ChatGPT makes that a lot faster for us. We can just plug in an existing blog, for example, and say, change it along the lines of this criteria, and it'll do it within minutes, if not seconds. And lastly, it makes us more data driven. So what I mean by that is, Jillian, so it's up until 2021 now, but they're probably going to release a version at least within the next 6 months, I'd imagine, that will be either 2022 or 2023. You're welcome, Jillian. So yeah, it makes us more data driven because it's able to handle data better than humans can in general, meaning you can feed it like a large data set about, let's say, a real estate market in Los Angeles or whatever location you're targeting, and you can ask it to analyze it for you. You can ask it to create content for you, and it'll do so convincingly and quickly. So if we go to the next slide, I'll actually cover a few very specific SEO tactics that apply to real estate that we can do using ChatGPT. So content outlines. So content is king. We need content in order to rank for the target keywords that our audience searches. So a content outline is just going to say all the different headers that should be covered in an article about X. ChatGPT can do that for us in just a few seconds, and then we can hand that off to a writer, or we can use it ourselves to create content. Textual content. So this is a big one. It can create content for pretty much whatever we need. A real estate related blog, a market report, a real estate listing description, a realtor bio. Of course, the more information we feed ChatGPT about all these things, the better the output's going to be, the better the content's going to be. On-page SEO elements. So meta titles, meta descriptions, the busy work of SEO that takes so much time and isn't super, super high impact. It more gets us in the door, but it's not super high impact in terms of improving our rankings. We can get all that out of the way much faster by having ChatGPT do it. We can, for example, send it 100 different meta titles that exist on our site, and then the keyword that each of those meta titles should be optimized for, and it'll do that in a matter of seconds. Keyword research. So let's say we know 50 keywords that we should have content for in order to rank, but we know that there's some keywords we're missing. We can feed it the list of existing keywords and ask it to fill in the blanks, and it'll do so very quickly. And then content audits. So let's say we have a blog, it's been up for a year, it's not ranking well enough to drive traffic, and we have a lot of data about the blog. We have impression data, for example, that's showing us, the blog is ranking for 10 different keywords, but not well. We can ask ChatGPT to update the existing blog to be more relevant to those 10 keywords that hopefully we can rank better and drive traffic. So if we skip to the next slide, I can start showing you examples of what I mean.
Definitely. And quickly, one question. So I personally use, I see some questions regarding if we're using the paid version or the a plus version. So I typically use just the regular version. I'm not using a paid subscription. Do you know if the ChatGPT Plus has up to 2023 data, or is that still at 2021?
Yeah, so ChatGPT 4 is up to 2021 as of today, and it's much better at handling basic to complex commands than ChatGPT 3. ChatGPT 4, as some of you probably know, is about $20 a month, I believe, and it's well worth it. It just does things better, and like I said, it's more up to date in terms of 2021 data than the version 3.
Got it. And then one other one in here that I do think we could kind of answer on this part is just how do we best teach ChatGPT about our personal and brand tone in order to get more personalized content? I would assume you could kind of let it know your tone, and then it'll kind of get it from there. But if you had a little bit more of an answer there.
Yeah, sure. You've got brand guidelines, feed that to ChatGPT and ask it to use these guidelines when creating any kind of content that's branded. You can do the same thing, like if, let's say you have a bio, you're trying to make a bio for yourself, feed it information that you find on your other bios, and ask it to create unique original content based on that.
Like it. Thank you. And we'll kind of jump into some of those examples you were mentioning.
Right. So here's an example of data to content. So we're feeding ChatGPT real estate market data about Los Angeles and asking it to create a report. So if we skip to the next slide, we can see the blog that it's created. It's starting to create this blog with completely unique and original content, but it's using those data points. And then the next slide, we have a data to table example. So in this case, we're asking ChatGPT to make a data table for us, kind of like a spreadsheet, with specific data points. So this would be an article about how to improve your return on investment for your homes with home improvement projects. And it's got a percentage of ROI per type of home improvement project. So in the next slide, we fed that to ChatGPT and asked it to make a data table. And here's a data table it made in a few seconds. So you can copy paste this into your blog and just make it easier for users to digest this kind of important information, which is going to equal better content, which is going to equal better rankings.
Like it. And then a few more questions jumping up in the chat, some in regards to when prompting in chat, giving it your persona, a context outline, and tone of voice, does that give it a better result? I would say yes there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Does ChatGPT remember you and your tone from blog to blog, or do you need to feed it every time?
If it's in the same exact chat, then it should remember it. If it forgets it, you could just remind it. But if you create a new chat, it's probably not going to remember the context you provided it.
Definitely. And I think this is a question that we get across the board. How do we know the actual accuracy that ChatGPT provides?
It's a good question, because ChatGPT does tend to hallucinate maybe 20% of what it says. So we need to, that's why we always need to, I'm going to go over a list of recommendations for kind of avoiding that inaccuracy issue. But basically, we want to provide it with as much data that is relevant to the topic we're asking it to write about as possible.
Like it. Well, we'll go ahead and push through some of this as well. And
yeah,
just
so,
exactly like you were saying, yeah.
Yeah, so GPT is obviously very powerful, and it's very tempting to use it to do things because it does it so much faster, but we have to balance it with certain best practices. So for one thing, Google's content recommendations. If you look up Google's content guidelines, there's a whole article about it that lists many different questions for us to ask ourselves about a piece of content before we publish it. So we always want to have those in mind when we're creating content using GPT. SEO expertise. So what I mean by that is just being familiar with the SEO best practices of whatever the specific SEO tactic is we're asking GPT to do. We could even ask GPT, what are the best practices for this specific tactic? Now follow these when carrying out this task. We can also familiarize ourselves with SEO best practices through sort of reputable SEO knowledge bases like Moz.com or Search Engine Land. Human editing. So this is where, whatever GPT creates, we want to make sure a human reads it, make sure it's well organized for human consumption, let's say, make sure that it is relevant and helpful to humans, that it covers the things that humans would be interested in learning about, kind of thing. Because Google is going to reward people first content, and AI might not necessarily make that without our influence on what it's creating. So data, like I said, to sort of prevent inaccuracies, we want to feed ChatGPT as much data as we can about the topic. So if we're writing about, let's say, how to buy a home in Los Angeles, we want to pull that cost of, real estate market statistics or whatever kind of data we can find that's relevant to that topic so that what we're saying to people is accurate. And then competitive research. So let's say you're writing a blog about how to buy a home. You want to search that keyword, how to buy a home, in Google. You want to look at the top ranked page. What kind of subtopics does it cover? We want to cover the same or similar subtopics so we can feed that list of headings, that list of subtopics to ChatGPT and say, please cover these. The reason being, the more subtopics we cover, the more questions we're answering, and Google rewards content that if they were to direct all the people that search that keyword in Google to our content, with all the many different questions those people could have, most of those people will find an answer. Google reward the content that does that best.
Perfect. And then I really love this quote that you kind of shared with me if we wanted to go over this.
Yeah, so there's a question of like, does Google care if you make content using AI? They've said specifically, our systems are looking at the helpfulness of content rather than how it is produced. So it doesn't matter if it's made by humans or AI, as long as we're creating people-first content that's relevant to their search, it's giving people the information they're seeking when they search that target keyword of the blog, then we can have just as much success with AI content as with human-produced content.
I like it. And then there's a few questions too that are coming in just regarding prompts and templates. So we will be sending out something after the call too, just in regards to that, so you can utilize that a little bit more efficiently. Great. And then if we wanted to do this in summary quickly as well.
Very quickly, so ChatGPT enables us to create quality data-driven real estate and lifestyle content. It enables us to optimize our websites for search engines and those real estate keywords that are going to drive relevant traffic. And it helps us do all this very quickly. But we need to keep in mind that for search engine and user friendliness, whatever we're asking GPT to do, we have to do it along Google's helpful content guidelines, and also whatever the SEO best practices for the specific SEO task is, to ensure that what we create actually has success.
That's perfect. Well, thank you, Thomas. I know there's a bunch of questions still in the chat about this. We'll kind of save a few of these for the final QA. I'm going to jump around just because we did jump into a few of these different ones. But next, I really wanted to highlight just some additional AI tools that we do have available. So the first one that I did want to highlight was specifically Midjourney. So Midjourney is a artificial intelligence program specifically for generating images. So what I think is really cool about Midjourney is you're able to give it prompts, and then it will create an AI created image based off of those prompts. So you could tell it that you wanted an image specifically of a blue tabby cat, and it would provide you a blue tabby cat. You could say that you wanted a modern farmhouse home with double doors in front, and it would provide something of that nature as well. So just another cool tool to kind of utilize. I would say the best way to utilize this is if you don't have much property images available and you're still trying to post on social media, but maybe you don't necessarily want to use stock imagery, this is a really good tool to kind of utilize. Midjourney would be. On this next slide, all of these images right here were all provided via AI or AI image creation. So again, giving it certain prompts to kind of create imagery for your channels. With that, there are some additional AI tools as it relates to images as well. So Replicate is one that is able to generate images, music, and everything in between, really. One that I find really fun is Interior AI. So Interior AI, you're able to take a photo of your own interior and kind of transform the style that you would have. So myself, I personally went to school for architecture and design, and being able to use something like this back in the day seems so far-fetched. I mean, we were on Google SketchUp doing our design, so this would be really cool to kind of see in use. And then the other one is DALL-E. So that is AI text to image generator. That's really specific and similar to AI tools for images like Midjourney. A lot of these are a little bit more robust. I mean, these aren't necessarily that ones that you would utilize in a day-to-day operation, but I do think it's worth sharing just in case it's a tool that would be something that your team may want. And then, of course, we'll get to some of these additional questions, but the one thing that I was so excited to kind of present on today is on our Presence Copilot. So again, if you have not already heard about our Presence Copilot, this is a really great thing that is coming out of Luxury Presence. I'm so excited for it. If you have already seen our hype video, I'm sorry, you're going to see it again now, but I have personally watched the hype video multiple times and I haven't gotten tired of it. So we'll go ahead and roll that for you now.
Awesome thing to do. Then I'll keep loving you way past 65. We may awesome things to do.
Incredible. Awesome. So again, Presence Copilot, really, this is our new mobile platform that combines the AI power of mobile assistant with smart client collaboration features and an agent branded consumer app. So really, I am so excited for this launch. If you haven't already, I will kind of provide what we have available for the wait list. But I really wanted to dive into some of the stuff that will be available for Presence Copilot as it relates to AI specifically. So one of the first ones that I wanted to highlight was AI as it relates to the notes feature. So with this feature on the app, you will be able to use a record a voice note that magically gets turned into an organized, more note that you're able to utilize better for clients. So I quickly wanted to show that in action. We know that agents are always on the go. So this particular thing I think is really great, especially when if you're in a car, you're doing a voice note real quick. It can come up with a full persona or preferences of all the notes that you had provided and put that in a much cleaner format that is available. So that one we're super excited for in regards to AI. Another one is in regards to market insights. So using the power of AI, we will be able to provide market insights about specific areas, or summarize information regarding MLS listings that may be in the area as well. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that in action. Generating the market insight for that area. And then you have all of that information available right at your fingertips. So again, I think it's so incredible to have a Copilot right in your pocket that you're really able to utilize in this way. If you have not already, I already mentioned this, but go ahead and join the waitlist at luxurypresence.com/copilot. Any agent that enters this waitlist, they are going to be able to see their place in line. The more people that you invite and other agents to the waitlist, the more higher up you will be in line for the product release. So we are doing some prizes with this as well. So the top 300 waitlist users will receive some Luxury Presence swag. Woo. The top 30 waitlist users will receive a free 1-year product subscription. The top 5 waitlist users will receive a $15,000 branded and custom website package. And then our top waitlist user will receive an all-inclusive trip to LA and a private dinner with celebrity agents, industry leaders, and our CEO, Malti, as well. So a lot of hype around this. If you haven't already seen it, really encompassing exactly what we've been talking about around AI in this space, and really going to revolutionize a lot of what we're doing with AI in real estate. Awesome. And then I did say we would have time for questions at the end. So we will kind of go through that right now. Looking at this in the QA, I do think I already answered these. So are we using the paid version? It seems like Thomas had been using the paid version. I personally have been using just a normal version, the free version. How do we best teach ChatGPT? We talked about that in terms of personal and brand tone. And then we talked about the cheat sheet for prompts. I'm happy to allow someone to come up if you would like to. Otherwise, I will kind of go into these. So one of the questions that I see here, where do we sign up? So sign up will be at luxurypresence.com/copilot. After this too, when we send that follow-up email, you will receive that link as well included. Okay. Does this capture Washington State market as well? Yes, that will be functioning on there. Love to see, would be interested in this since I use something similar. So I'll go ahead and stop sharing real quick, and then I can open it up. If anyone wants to drop questions, we're happy to kind of field those now. What about Cabos, Mexico? So I will actually need to check if we have because I know we have the MLS available for Los Cabos in Mexico, but I will need to see if the feature will actually work. So Joel, I'll go ahead and put down your contact information and get back to you on that one. Of course. And then if I missed any questions in the chat, if you wouldn't mind just re-asking those so we can kind of go through them together. Hawaii, yes, we will be set for Hawaii. Hamptons, definitely. So when it relates to all of these areas, I will send, I know there's going to be a multiple coming in. So we will definitely make sure that all of the ones that you're highlighting here are functioning on the platform. So I'll go ahead and make sure when we talk about the Copilot app that we're getting you the correct information there. Yeah. So the last one that just came in, can you please repeat the price or the prizes for the wait list? So again, that is, so when an agent enters the wait list, they will be shown that place in line. So the more people that you invite to the wait list, the higher that you will be on the wait list line. So again, the top 300 waitlist users will receive exclusive Luxury Presence swag. The top 30 waitlist users will receive a free 1-year product subscription. The top 5 waitlist users will receive a $15,000 branding and custom website package. And then that top waitlist user will receive an all-inclusive trip to LA and a private dinner with celebrity agents, industry leaders, and our CEO. Great. Will Copilot work for Teams? That is a really great question. So what is great about this app too is there is a co-branded or a branded version as well that you're able to purchase. So that will also allow you to have your whole team as well as everything in the platform itself be specifically branded to you. So there will be a separate fee for the app outside of the subscription fee that is involved. That pricing has not gone out so far, but as soon as that is available, anyone that is on the wait list will get all of that information real time. When you share, I would want, yeah, Thomas, if you didn't mind this one, when you share data to ChatGPT, is there a particular format for feeding in market stats to generate a market report?
Not particularly, but just bear in mind that there's a character limit for each chat. So if you copy paste a huge data set into there, it might cut off at some point. So what I do is I actually ask ChatGPT to summarize a big block of text that has data points in it into a briefer bullet list, and then I refeed that in and say, make a market report out of that.
Great. And then we have another one, Thomas, if I could reflect this one to you. When blogging, is the subtitle what is needed for the SEO? I know there's multiple things that kind of go into SEO specific for blogs outside of just like a heading or a subheading, if you wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, to my knowledge, subtitle isn't a ranking factor. If it is, it's small. It sounds like you're asking where should we put the keywords. Make sure that your keyword is in your title tag, which is kind of like the page title, but it's people call it an SEO title. It's what you're telling Google your page is about. So best practice for that is to keep it under the character limit, which I think is 60, and also have the primary keyword as close to the beginning of the title tag as possible. That's more important than anything to do with the subtitle.
Right. And then similarly, if you want to raise your hand too, I can have some people come up to ask questions, but we can continue to field those through the chat as well. Are there any preferred CRMs that LP prefers or is partial to? I would say, yeah, if we can pass that to you, Marian, in regards to CRM capability.
Yeah, so we will say this, and I will always say, any CRM you choose, as long as you use it, will work. Choose what's best for you. For us and for what we've seen most of our clients have success with or what they're using is Follow Up Boss. That's who we recommend, just, we know they have a great product. They're innovative. Their bread and butter, if you will, is CRM and CRM functionality. So for us, we'll always recommend them. But again, anything you're using will be great as long as you are using it. What we do love about Follow Up Boss and kind of where we see this and where you can integrate it with AI is obviously the lead nurture part. You can create your own lead flow or lead nurture flows as you start leveraging more and more information, and you want to get more granular about how you follow up. A tool like Follow Up Boss with Chat GPT, and for example, creating a follow-up sequence for your past clients that you haven't touched base in over a year, and you want to kind of keep them up to date. Maybe you have some market report information that you want to turn into consumable monthly emails. You can do that, and an integration like Follow Up Boss will be perfect for that. You set up a sequence there. So that's who we would recommend. But again, I think with most CRMs, you have some functionality like that.
There's a few more CRMs ones, so Closey or Close. I've worked with that personally. There's we can do integrations there. I haven't worked with KV Core. If you have any insight into that one.
Yeah, so similar to Follow Up Boss, KV Core again has a lot of functionalities. I know KV Core Inside Real Estate has put a lot of thought and a lot of great tools out there recently. So I haven't kept up much with them, but I do know they, care about their clients tremendously and have a lot of innovation as well. So how we integrate with them, I would definitely check with their support, making sure, that flow and what would be required. And again, our team will be happy to help you with that integration as well. But as far as lead nurture, again, you can apply a similar functionality, separate your leads accordingly and how you want to reach out to them, what you want to reach out, and start teaching ChatGPT about the prompts you want. If you wanted to, follow up with market reports on one segment, leads that came in through Google. I know these tend to be, some of them will be months without you hearing from them, but you also want to make sure you're staying on top of them. That could be another segment, reasons why you should move now, or what's really going on in the market, things like that. Feed that information to ChatGPT, make it into, small consumable emails that you can send out, at a regular pace or a regular period of time, and that'll be a good follow-up. And again, those are some of the things you can do with your CRM. And like I said, most of them will have some kind of functionality with that.
Thank you. And then, Jillian, I see your comment regarding LP and the Follow Up Boss. We'll definitely make sure this is resolved. So I'll get this chat afterwards and see if there's anything we can kind of assist with there. Some of these other ones, I don't know how much we can go into this one, but of course it is going to get asked, Marian, but AI lead nurture, just anything in terms of where we're at with that.
Yeah, so right now we're just in the testing phases. We want to make sure that anything we roll out is tested. Obviously, when helping clients reach out to their leads, we want to make sure that it is the best functionality, that we are very conscious of what we put out there on your behalf, or how something is communicating with your leads. So that is currently being tested out. And we're hoping maybe in the next couple of months, you'll get a big announcement. So fingers crossed there, but we are hoping it's sooner rather than later.
I like it. Well, thank you. Stephanie, of course, yes, we will be sending out a recording of this afterwards. Thomas, do you think you'd need a little bit more information for this one? What tool are we using to pull the stats that we're feeding into ChatGPT? He's frozen.
Oh. Yeah, so I would just Google something like, real estate market statistics about Los Angeles, and then copy paste from a reputable source, Zillow, Redfin, something like that. I also saw someone asked, when uploading images, does the background name of the file make an impact on the SEO? To some extent, yes. Having the keyword in the file name might help the image rank for that keyword in Google image search, but it's not necessarily going to help the blog itself rank for its target keywords. So there is an SEO element, but it's not super high impact for you. Sorry, Sebastian, but someone else asked, did we discuss how to use Bard? I personally don't use Bard. Bard isn't as good as ChatGPT, and I think other people will back me up there. So I haven't used it yet. I'm going to wait for it to be better. I've run tests on it to see how well it can do sort of complicated SEO tasks, and it wasn't really good. So I wouldn't recommend using it over ChatGPT 4.
Okay. And then any other questions that we can field while we have y'all? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for everyone who joined. We have a good amount of people still in the call right now. I'm really, really excited to just see how everyone incorporates AI in your real estate business. Again, we will send this out afterwards, and we will be providing a little bit more of a prompt on things that you can be using for ChatGPT as well. How do you sign up for the app? One last time, we'll do the plug. So luxurypresence.com/copilot. Definitely make sure you get on the wait list for that. Outside of that, I'll go ahead and end this meeting, but thank you all for joining.
The sun is climbing slowly. I hold these moments closely now. These waves hit a little harder. I know they're gonna carry me somewhere. Step into the open wide. Watch the future come alive. This is our time. Heart